you're all feeling good. You're ready to rock and roll with your strong Wednesday morning Pilates. So let's start nice and tall, open across the chest, letting the arms hang beside us, feet are planted. Obviously, we're honoring all the natural curves in our spine with that neutral. Big breath in, and then we're going to roll down. Let's let those arms hang. Breath in and we reach the floor. Rolling up on your exhale. And let's go again, letting the arms hang. And rolling up. Keeping lifted through the arches of your feet. Rolling down. Noticing what you feel today. My gosh, my glutes are so sore after yesterday's effort. I hope that you're all suffering the same as me. And oh, there I go, I'm nice and sore in my obliques as well. Oh. Hopefully we'll be able to stretch it out a bit today. Oh my goodness, feeling sore today, wow. It's nice to feel sore though, isn't it? Feels like you've been doing something. So if you are sore like me, you want to just take it easy through the warm-up, not go straight into all the hard stuff. So probably lucky for you, seeing as I'm feeling a bit sore, so we'll take it a little bit easy to start with. So reaching a bit further. And over, pulling your tummy into your spine. Let's go one more time. And last one. Then we'll come up through center, turning your palms to face the ceiling, bending the knees, pulling that tummy in, double twist. And double twist. As always, I know we've all been here before. Let's keep the pelvis nice and stable. Twisting through the waist, keeping the shoulders down. And we'll make the next one the last one. Good, so we're just going to do a little bit of a balance this morning. So taking the arms up above our head, set those shoulders down, pull the tummy in. We'll take the weight forward over the toes. We're going to rise up and lower. So let's wake up the ankles first. That's it. Pulling those ribs down. Still connecting, you know how I always harp on about that when we're lying down, connecting the rib cage to the pelvis. Rather than like so, see the difference? Much stronger, much easier for balance. Good, let's hold at the top. Here, we're gonna take our right arm to the back and our left arm to the front. So it looks like this. We're gonna twist our spine as well towards that right arm. Coming down. And then we're coming up. So our arms are going opposite ways. It's not swimming. Both arms are not going the same way. Both arms going down, both arms coming up. So we're staying right up on those toes. Whoa. And up one more time this side. Down. And up. Let's pause in the center and we'll go back the other way. So collect your balance. Turn over your left shoulder this time, both arms going down. Turning over your right shoulder, both arms coming up. Hello, balance this morning. Up. Two more. Right up on those toes. And last one. Ooh. Good, we're gonna see if we can stay up on our toes. We're gonna take the hands forward. We're gonna come down a little bit so we're no longer up as high as we can. So find that in between stance. We're gonna bend the knees. We'll keep the back upright. And we're going to see if we're going to slide down an imaginary wall, so keeping the back straight, to about here, depending on how your knees go, and then we'll come all the way back up. So I'm trying not to lift all the way up on my toes. Okay, I'm trying to keep about halfway, sliding down. Tummy is nice and strong, and then sliding up, reaching the fingertips forward, but at the same time, keeping open across those collarbones, so not compressing through the chest. A bit of a squeeze between those shoulder blades will help you there. Good. Try and keep the same distance off the floor with the heels. And standing tall, 2 more times. Down. And up. And last 1. Down. And up. Good. Let's lower the heels and lower the arms. So I'm going to turn towards the side, just standing at the back of my mat. And we're going to do a roll down, planting the hands on the floor. So bend the knees, planting those hands, going nice and slow. And we're going to walk our hands out one at a time, maybe keeping the knees bent until we get there. When we get there, then we're going to press our heels down towards the mat, encouraging our hamstrings to lengthen. Then we're going to bend the knees, walk the hands back in, flop forward, and roll up. So we might try that again. Rolling down, bending the knees, planting those hands on the floor. One by one, we're going to walk out towards the end of the mat, knees bent, and then we'll slowly straighten those legs, encouraging your back to be nice and long. If you can't quite get your knees straight, it's better to have bent knees and tip the pelvis forward and widen those sit bones. And then we're going to walk back, flopping forward and rolling up. Let's make this one the last one. So let those arms hang, bend the knees. As you can feel, we're slowly building some body heat here. Walking forward, find the end of the mat with bent knees, stretching both legs. While we're here, let's bend one knee, pressing the other one down into the mat, and then the other. So you can see that my shoulders are not up around my ears. I'm trying to keep them down. Pressing both heels down now. Bend the knees as we walk one at a time. Flop forward and rolling all the way up. So that was a little warm up for this standing stretch for our hamstrings that we're going to do. So I'm going to give you lots of options, so not to stress about a standing hamstring stretch. We're not going to be holding our leg up around our ear or anything like that. So first, we're going to take our weight to the right side, and then we're going to see if we can grab underneath our left foot like so, clasping your fingers. Right, so here is your first option for balance. Right here, just as you are. If you want to try a little bit harder, we're going to see if we can straighten out our leg in front of us. Maybe it goes straight, maybe it doesn't, but we're holding that balance. Now maybe I'm going to wobble, maybe I'm not, who knows. The last little bit is folding forward. Ooh, there I go. Folding forward over your extended leg, bringing your nose towards your knee. So one of those 3 options, we're just holding for 3, 2, and 1. Bend the knee, and we'll carefully change to the other side. Let's see what happens when we go this time. Okay, so grabbing underneath, oh, this mic pack's gonna get in the way, underneath your right foot, set those shoulders down. So here might be enough of a balance for you today. Make sure your tummy is strong, make sure your underneath leg is nice and strong. If you want to try something else, you're going to straighten out your leg in front of you here. Holding, stay strong. If this is still not enough, let's bring our nose to our knee. See if we can hold for 3, 2, and 1. Release. Both feet down. Standing tall. Oh my gosh, glad that's over. So I'm going to invite you to sit down on something, maybe the couch, maybe the chair. If you've got nothing like that nearby, you're just going to come down onto your knees, okay? So I'm going to sit on this ball because it's right here, and I'm also going to grab some hand weights. So all the ball is going to do for me is just challenge my core strength a little bit. It's not a necessary part of the exercise, but if you have one, you may as well use it rather than just having it sit there doing nothing. So my hands are by my side, holding some water bottles or some weights, whatever you've got with a bit of weight in it around the house. Even nothing at all is fine. That will just be a workout for your shoulders. Okay, some mobility for your shoulders, I mean. All right, so I'm going to try and keep my knees directly in front of my hips and not out to the side, especially if you're on the ball. That's going to challenge you a little bit further. So turning my palms over to face the ceiling, pulling the tummy in, I'm going to rise up and rise and lower down. So my palms are still facing up at this stage. I've externally rotated my shoulders. So I haven't just rotated my wrists, I've rotated my shoulders. And we lift up and we lower down. Lifting up and lower down. Nice. So depending what you're holding in your hands, it might be easy, it might not be. I was watching this Pilates thing yesterday and they suggested filling up your water bottles with sand to make it a little bit heavier than water. So you can play around with that if you want. I suppose it's easy if you live near the beach, not so easy if you don't have access to sand. Or maybe you have a sand pit. Who knows? Whatever you got around the house in this crazy time. Let's turn the palms towards each other. Picking them up and down. Really important just to watch those shoulders. If you do have sticky shoulders and you can't get too far past here without getting some weird pinching feeling, then obviously using your common sense, just go to there. Shoulder impingements, if you do end up with one, take ages to get better. So we want to avoid ages like 6 to 8 weeks. We want to avoid going there. And let's do 2 more, 2 and 1. Good. So I'm going to hold my arms out to the side, wherever's comfortable. And if you're sitting on a chair, obviously it's going to be a bit easier. If you're on the ball, it's going to be a bit harder to raise one knee and lower it down. Then the other and lower it down. And if you're just kneeling, what you can do is try and lift one heel towards your glute. So you're still changing your weight and you're activating your hamstrings. With us, doing the knee lifts, it's about our quads, abs, hip flexors. And it's starting to feel quite heavy in my arms. Woo-hoo. Now, one more time each side. And then we're going to take the arms down. One last thing for our triceps before we get further down on the mat. So let's take the arms above our head. We're going to join our hands together. And we're going to carefully take the weights, the bottles behind our head like so. Elbows pointing up to the ceiling and pointing close together. We're going to straighten and bend. You can keep your back upright, or if it's easier, you can lean forward a little bit. Just watch that you don't end up shrugging those shoulders if you're leaning forward, because it does put a little bit of extra effort into your delts, into your traps. Good. If you hate training your triceps like me, you probably feel a burn fairly soon depending on the weight of whatever's in your hands. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring the weights forward all the way down. Just pop them to the side now. We're going to come down to the mat. So you can choose, depending on the size of your football, you might like to hold it, hold the football, or else you can grab something smaller like a circle or a cushion just to hold in your hands. Even like a broom or even a towel in between your hands. But I'm going to use the ball up like so. And I'm going to start with both knees on the mat, and then I'm going to change to just the one knee. So on the inhale, I'm going to go over to the side, stretch, 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 stretch. So the ball's got just enough weight in it to give me that little bit of extra engagement through my obliques. And if you have a massive fit ball, you might feel that it's just a bit much. Over and up. Good. So we did a similar thing yesterday morning on the mat, I think. Can't remember. With these side tilts. I think that's why I'm sore. And we were holding the circle, I think, or maybe the small ball. And now we're just going to extend one of our legs. It doesn't matter which leg. So we can probably tilt just a little bit further. And over. So if you're holding nothing in your hands, you're just reaching your hands up to the ceiling and you're trying to keep them the same width apart. So that's the benefit of holding something in your hands, that you keep them the same width. And we'll come back up through center, bring the object forward, and we'll add a rotation in. Twist and twist. Nice work. Definitely starting to feel warm now. Hope you're feeling the same. And we do need to do all this to the other side, so we'll make this one the last one. Good, bring your knee in underneath you. Just a few side tilts here, because we've already done them. So maybe just one more to each side before we extend the leg. Let's come back up through center. Other leg this side, make sure it's secure there. And let's continue with our tilts. Slide the shoulders down. It's really easy to allow them to shuffle up around your ears, especially if you've got something heavy in your hands. And it's amazing how heavy a ball can feel after a little while, isn't it? And one more time, like so. Breathing in as we go one way and breathing out as we go the other way, bringing the hands forward. Rotation, not too many. And just two more. And last one. All right, so if you have a ball, you're just going to put it under your body like so and just flop forward like this. If you're on a chair, just sit forward, hugging your knees like you would if you were on an airplane and you were asked to brace. You would flop forward, and if you're just on the mat, you're going to sit down into your rest pose. So whatever you're doing, all we're trying to do here is get a bit of a stretch out of the back. There are no rules. I'm just kind of having a quick little break here before we get into our scap slides. So I'll start you off without the ball, but if you do have a ball, it's really nice to use it. It really makes you work hard. So, crawling position, like so. And we're going to concentrate on our shoulder blades. So trying to get the knees underneath the hips here. You can actually also do this leaning up against the wall, both hands on the wall. I'm going to show you how to do it on the ball as well. So we're going to hold the core nice and strong, set those shoulders down. We're going to start by pushing the floor away. So this is how we would start off a plank or any kind of other Pilates exercise here. But now we're going to allow our shoulder blades to squeeze together. So I'm sending the chest down towards the floor, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then push into your hands as your shoulder blades slide back around the side of your rib cage. So we're sliding the scaps together, push them away. Slide them together, push them away. Slide them together, push them away. So keep going with this. I'm going to back up to the camera and just show you, I think you might not be able to see through my shirt, but the shoulder blades coming together and behind, together and behind. One more time, together and behind. So keep going with that kind of feeling. And if you have the ball handy and you would like to try on the ball, we're just going to lean into the ball like so. So already my core is like, holy crap. So squeeze together, push away. So you can see I'm on a little bit of an incline. Squeeze together, push away. Holding the ball stable is one of the big challenges as well. But I'm going to try and focus my energy into the shoulder blades. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. If you were doing it up against a wall, you'd be up on your feet and you'd be slightly leaning towards a wall, like a wall push-up. And let's just do 3 more before we have a little bit of a rest. 2 and 1. Nice. So I'm just going to pop that ball away. Coming back to our crawling position, just a quick little release here. So sliding one arm down to the mat, lowering your ear and your shoulder to the floor, pushing in to the floor with your opposite hand. So if I've got my left arm lying down, I'm pushing into my right hand. I'm trying to stack my shoulders, my right shoulder on top of my left shoulder, getting a bit of a stretch underneath the shoulder blade. And then let's come up, do the same to the other side. Lowering down, then pushing into the floor carefully. Trying to stack my shoulders. And from here, just as we can, let's just sink all the way down, rolling over. And here we are on our back. So starting with the hands behind the head, we should be already fairly warm, but let's just do a few pelvic tilts just to make sure. Rocking back and forth. And next time that the lower back is engaged with the floor, we'll leave it there and picking the legs up into tabletop, lifting into a chest lift. We're going straight into a crisscross this morning. So carefully, opposite elbow to knee, coming back through center and changing to the other side. So we'll make it nice and slow so we can exhale, twist, inhale back through center, and exhale, twist to the other side. Good. Twist, back through center, and twist. This painfully slow, resting the head into the hands. Good. Let's get a little bit more pace. Exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So we're not completely filling up and expelling our lungs when we move a little bit quicker, but still really trying to control that breath because that activates or works through the diaphragm. The diaphragm is an integral part of our core. Good. Let's one more. Back to center. Good. Hug the knees in towards your nose. Lift your chest up. Lift your tailbone up. Good. We're going to see if we can hold this height that we've just given ourselves. Letting go of our knees, but try and keep that tailbone elevated. Hands behind the head. We're going to straighten up our legs as best we can. So we're lifted quite high. Now we're going to lower the legs and lift them back up. 90 degrees only. Inhale, lower, exhale, up. So we're feeling a really nice, delicious burn in our tummies, aren't we? Yes. Lower. And lift. Whew. Lower. And lift. Remember keeping it small if you have a bad back. If you have a TheraBand, stretch band, or a towel, you can wrap it around your feet. Give yourself a little bit of help. We won't be here too long. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Bend the knees. Find the floor. Release down to the mat, setting ourselves up for a pelvic curl. Let's roll up and roll down and up we go and down we go. So it's really small, not small, it's really smooth. These morning classes, pre-coffee, tell you what, struggling to connect the brain cells, rolling up and rolling down. Good news is that it's Wednesday. Only a couple more days till the end of the week. But every weekend's the same, isn't it? We can't go anywhere. Stuck at home. And last one. Let's hold at the top. Rising up onto those toes and lower. Up and lower. Let's reach the hands up and lower. Lift and lower, just getting our hamstrings going and our calf muscles. 3, 2, and 1. Heels down, keep the hands up. So the knees are not touching. We're going to try and keep the knees level in space there. So we're going to lift up one of our legs, straighten it out, place it down. Lifting the other one straight out. So my knees are still aligned. Stepping side to side. Extend and down. Extend and down. Extend and down. Good. Waking up our hamstrings. One more time each side. Then both feet down. We're going to roll down to the mat. I'm going to scoot back a little bit just so my legs don't hit the wall. Pressing that lower back into the mat. We're going to lift our legs up into tabletop here. So we're going to take a nice big bicycle, straightening up the right leg towards the ceiling first. Left leg's going to go down towards the mat. So we look, oh, I knew I would hit the wall. We look like this. So we're going to drag our left foot along the mat, lowering down the right. So we come to 2 straight legs and continue to bicycle. A nice big bicycle. We want to find the mat if we can, and hopefully find a straight leg at 90 degrees. But hey, we're all different. Good. Really strong in those tummies. If you want to punish yourself, you can lift up into a chest lift like so. Let's go back the other way. So I'll lower my chest down. This means we bend the right knee. It's going to find the floor as we lift the left leg up. So we're pedaling backwards. But it's still nice and big. We still hit that 2 straight leg moment. Maybe lifting the head and chest. Whew, feeling that ab burn. Good morning. Oh, 1 more each side. Oh my gosh. And then let's come back to center. Keep those legs lifted. Whew, lifting those head and chest. We'll leave the knees bent. We're just going to open the knees about the width of the mat and then squeeze them back together. Open. And let's get a little bit of pressure on those knees. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Open. And squeeze, 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 squeeze those knees. And feel what it does to your core. It makes you work so much harder. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. 4. Squeeze. 3. Squeeze. 2. Squeeze. 1. Oh my gosh. 1 leg down, then the other, and release down to the mat. Oh, so I'll get you going on the mat with what you're doing with your hamstrings, and then I'm going to grab the ball if you so wish, or a roller if you want to use it. So we're going to find a bridge. Yeah. And making sure our technique is good. So knees to shoulders is 1 long line. You're squeezing those glutes. You're going to pull on your heels. So like you're pulling your body weight down towards the bottom of the mat, and then push into your heels. So you're rolling the body weight back over your shoulders. So it's just a push, a pull, and a push. A pull, use the hamstrings and glutes. A push, use your quads. Pull, back to the legs, push, front to the legs. Once you got that going, and we'll change exercises on the ball, you're just going to straighten out 1 leg, lift it up, place it down, and pull it in. So I'll get you going in a minute. Straighten it out, lift it up, down, and in. So let's have a break while I get the ball. So rolling down. Ball's going to go on the floor underneath our legs. Try not to have just your feet, just your heels resting on the ball, because it makes our knees more likely to be in hyperextension. So place it underneath your calves there, or your ankles, so you've got a little bit more support. Take some pressure off the knees. Okay, so if you've got no ball, you're going to place your feet on the mat. We do that pull-push thing that we just did. If you're on the ball, let's just try a few bridges up and down before we get into the push-pull. So if you feel stable, on the next one, we're going to join the others on the mat in the push-pull. Holding here, nice and strong and stable in our core. I'm going to pull the ball towards us and roll it out. Pull towards us and roll it out. Hope you're all coping down there, whatever variation you're doing. Push pull, we're going to move into the leg extension one. So if you're on the mat, you'll straighten out your right leg, you'll lift it up, you'll lower it down, and then you'll swap to the other side. If we're on the ball, we're holding a bridge here. It's very similar. We're taking one leg up, take it down, the other leg up and down. So two similar exercises. You can use the ball or you can use not to use the ball. It's also possible with a roller or a smaller ball. It's just a little bit harder with a smaller ball and more tricky with the roller. But everything is possible. Hope your glutes and your hamstrings are on fire. Would be unfair if it was just me. One more time, each side. And then we're going to find our bridge, rolling down and bring the knees in to cuddle your chest up towards your armpits, allowing the tailbone to lift, rocking side to side. And we're going to quickly do we did glute stretch yesterday. Let's do the pretzel stretch today. So we're going to straighten out the right leg, taking your arms out to the side. Left knee is up in tabletop. We're going to cross it over onto the floor. So my left knee right up by my right elbow. Then I'm going to open up through the chest, twist through the spine, turning the left palm to face the ceiling and enjoying the nice stretch. You get a bit of a glute stretch here depending how tight you are, but it's mostly in your lower back, up into your pecs. We're going to bend our right knee. So we can grab on to our toes. This is the right leg I'm grabbing onto. I'm pulling the heel to my glute. So I'm getting a really strong stretch on my right quad. Pulling it in, feel that intensity. Now we start to think about our other leg. So maybe you hold behind your left knee and straightening out your leg like that is enough of a stretch. But if you can reach your foot, this is the situation we want to try and reach. Setting our left shoulder down on the mat. Pulling that heel to your glute. And breathing, and we're going to carefully let our legs go back through center, and we'll set up for the other side. So straightening the left leg out, arms out to the side, bring that right knee in. Let's cross it over onto the floor. So right knee right up there by your left elbow, opening up, eventually setting this right shoulder down on the mat, but just taking it easy to twist through the spine and find that twist. It feels good. With each exhale breath, we're getting a little bit closer to the floor with this shoulder. Let's start to wind ourselves up. So grabbing onto your left toes, pulling your heel to your glute. Nice strong stretch down your left quad. If it's weird on the neck, by the way, you can just look up at the ceiling. It's totally fine. Especially as we get the legs involved, it is better, I guess, to look up to the roof. And now let's get the hamstring involved. So if you can reach your foot, grab it, and we're going to straighten it out. Otherwise, just behind your knee, whatever you can manage. And just relaxing into this weird and wonderful way to lie on our mat. Okay, we're nearly there. Nice big breath in, and the exhale breath. Let's just carefully let our legs go, making great time. And we're going to turn away over onto our tummies for some back extension. So I think today we'll come onto our elbows. Oops, hitting that wall again. So we're going to drive hands down in towards the mat, set my shoulders down. I'm really not trying to hinge into my lower back there. I'm going to pull my tummy to the spine and sort of lifting my belly button up off the mat. Right, so I'm supported, I have length in my lumbar spine. I'm not just collapsed like so. Lifting both legs up off the floor. With one leg at a time, we're going to do a double kick and a double exhale. So it looks like this: double exhale and straight. Double exhale and stretch. Double exhale and stretch. Keep pulling that tummy in and stretch. This is a great one for working with stabilizers either side of your spine. So your spine extensors. Transverse abdominis, of course, is doing a lot of work. Multifidus, we're getting a really good, this is a really great stabilizing exercise, is really what I'm trying to say here. Good, so we're not changing really the line of our spine. Look in those hamstrings, double kick. And now we'll change it up a little bit. So it's a double kick, double kick, double kick, double kick. Strong through the tummy, length through the spine. Go away with those elbows, shoulders down. 3, 2, and 1. And let's lower all the way down to the mat. So if you hands behind you, wobble your hips side to side to release tension in your lower back. I'm going to give you 2 options for back extension today. The first one, which is the more nicer one for your spine, is just the good old, starting with the pelvis in neutral, spine in neutral, just a thoracic spine lift here. And then if you like, you can come up into a full swan. So you can modify that as you need to. The rest of us, if you'd like to try, if you can reach your toes, I'm going to grab onto your feet here. Just going to rest your forehead down onto the mat. Now my back doesn't like to do this very much anymore, but let's give it a crack anyway. So pubic bone to the mat, tummy to spine, set those shoulders back. Start to kick back into your hands. It's going to lift your knees up and slowly start to lift your chest. So not only is this one for our back, it's also one for our shoulders. So we're going to keep kicking until you think you've come far enough, and then we're going to roll slowly down. So for me, I just feel rubbish at this, but hey, we give it a go. It doesn't matter if we're rubbish at something, does it? And lowering down and kicking into those hands, lifting the knees, lifting a little bit higher. We're trying to keep the knees reasonably close together. If you get to that point and you're like, oh, I can get really high because I'm like spreading my knees open a bit there. Let's try not to do that. So maybe with each one, you're just encouraging your body to go a little bit further. Maybe not, maybe that's enough for you. We'll just do one more. And rolling down. Look at that, 39 minutes, better get a move on. Let's sit back onto our hips, reaching the hands forward. Let's spend a couple of seconds here. We're going to do an ultra quick plank, otherwise we'll run out of time. I'm just enjoying the stretch. It's really important to have a good back stretch after you do back extension. And sliding the hands forward, one foot to the back of the mat, then the other, squeezing those glutes. Nice strong. As I said, it's going to be an ultra quick plank today. Let's pull that tummy in. We won't do anything fancy. Keeping the back of the neck long. Legs are mostly together, not that it really matters that much. And let's start to walk our feet in. So at the beginning of the class, hands, let's this time our feet in, straight legs, bent legs, your core, flopping forward, bend the knees, and then roll all the way up. Standing nice and tall, tummy's in, and then let's roll down. So my advice to you today, because I don't have time to do the stretch with you, is just to do a side bend stretch after class. So maybe holding on to the inside of a door and put your feet up nice and close to the door and just kind of hang into it, or just kind of sit down on your knees and do a side bend just at the end, just to open everything up. This is the last roll down. Rolling up. Nice big breath in to finish, and we're all done. Thanks for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.